this could be something that's extremely important, especially for foreign holders of US assets in countries that are deemed to have discriminatory foreign tax policies. Now, the digital services tax in Europe stands out as number one on the list of things that could be considered. There's other forms of taxation, such as minimum taxation that countries have on corporation tax, for example, that could be deemed to be unfair. Now, there's been a lot written on it, but essentially you'll have a higher tax rate for foreign holders of US assets. If it was triggered, it'll target not all holders of US assets, but those in the certain country that has been targeted. And it would start at 5%, and it'd ramp up a 5% extra tax rate above the usual tax rate over the next 4 years to a maximum of around 15-20%. So it's very, very important for US holders for foreign holders of US assets.
Hello everybody, it's Yashar here, back again with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, especially Section 899, that has raised a lot of concern for foreign investors in US markets, including Canadians and Europeans. Before starting the video, let me answer a couple of main questions that people have asked me during the last week. Number one, does this proposed tax impact capital gains, or it is just dividends received from US-based companies? The answer is based on what we can see in the bill. It impacts dividends, interest, royalties, rent, and gain on disposal of US property. It does not include capital gain on US stocks, provided that the investor does not have a business in the United States or is not present in the United States for a certain number of days. So capital gains should not be impacted. Question number two. If I own US-based ETFs like VOO or even VFV, which is traded on TSX on Canadian market, does this tax bill and extra taxes affect me? The answer is, this is a very critical question. Unfortunately, yes. This proposed tax bill, the Section 899, could directly affect you as a Canadian owning US-based ETFs like VOO and VFV, even if the ETF traded on the TSX in Canadian dollar. Question number three, if I own these stocks in my registered retirement account, like RRSP account here in Canada, which currently has a 0% withholding tax on US stocks, am I safe from this bill? The answer is no, you are not safe. Currently, if you hold a US-based ETF like VOO or VFV in your RRSP or RRIF, you currently pay 0% US dividend withholding tax. This is because the treaty exempt pension trusts. This is a tax treaty between United States and Canada. So this is probably the most efficient tax efficient way for Canadians to hold US dividend paying stocks. Section 899 contains language that would potentially override these existing tax treaties, including the one that we have with United States. So for VOO in an RRSP, the current 0% withholding tax would likely disappear. Your US dividends from VOO could become subject to escalating tax, potentially reaching 35%, as the 5% annual increases is added every single year. Question number four, should I sell my US stocks? The simple answer is no. You should not change your investment strategy based on political news and potential changes in the future. It's always a good idea to diversify, but unless you're solely dependent on US dividend stocks to live your life, this bill, even if it passes in the current shape and form, should not change your investment strategy. The bill automatically deems three items as unfair foreign taxes, in particular digital services taxes or DSTs. Digital service taxes are taxes that are specifically targeting revenues of large technology companies from online users within a country's border. So, for example, the taxes that we can have on Amazon, on Google, or on Microsoft. Canada recently implemented DST actually. Nearly 20 countries right now, including Australia, Canada, France, India, and UK, have DSTs. I will link to a couple of news sources, and particularly this article from Bank of Montreal, which goes over the details of the bill and its potential impact for those of you who are interested in more details. The bill hasn't passed the Senate yet and has pushbacks, so until it is passed and it is a law, nobody knows what it will end up being. July 4th has been mentioned a few times as the time that Trump wants this bill to be passed by. As I mentioned before, my hope is that Senate sees sense and reject this bill. But if this is passed by any chance, I assume this means foreign investment in bonds will also drop a lot, leading to higher US Treasury and corporate bond rates. So realistically, what US companies will likely do in that scenario is they will cut back on dividends and they will try to move to stock buybacks entirely, as those are already more tax efficient and returning money to shareholders. What I would do, probably nothing. I will continue to invest as usual while keeping an eye on the news in the coming weeks. Even if the bill is passed, I don't have many US dividend paying stocks. And those that paying a dividend, I mean Google and MasterCard, are paying insignificant dividends, which is not that important for me. There you are, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will come back with a portfolio update soon. But until that time, I see you guys in the next video. Farewell.